All right, so I'm gonna pour us some shots because in true, happy hour fashion, we drink a lot of margaritas.
For sure.
A lot.
I don't even think your guests know this might be probably your longest episode. Like, me and Jess that got put out of some spots. Like,
yes.
We get there 6, 7 o'clock. It might be 12, 1 in the morning. They like, all right, we doing last call, y'all. Y'all got the road.
Literally, our last happy hour, we went to Local Pass.
For sure.
We got there.
Jess put me on that spot,
We
too.
got there probably like 4 or 5 o'clock. And when I looked up, they was putting the chairs on top of the tables,
100%.
trying to clean the floors. Because we'd been sitting there talking. We had therapy session amongst each other. Like, this really is my dog. We could literally flush out ideas.
Some of the ideas y'all done got. Some of the stuff they done seen already had to get ran past Jess before it made it to y'all.
And stuff that Jamir has a little bit more courage, I feel like, than I do. So sometimes I have like $1 million ideas, but I may not act on all of them. But I know that I can go to him and flush them out and he'd be like, no, you gotta do that. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. You got to. So
you got an idea, you gotta do it. You got the idea for a reason.
So as far as like having an idea and sticking to it, you and Steph had an idea. Sorry, Steph. Shout out to Steph. You could have brought Steph on the show. Steph could have came, but you're not a happy.
Steph don't really be at the happy hour.
You're not the happy hour.
That's kind of like why, like,
right.
I'm just kind of by myself because this is usually how I go.
All right, so let's take this shot and then I'm gonna get into. You ready?
I'm ready.
He thought he was gonna come over here and be all cutesy, not have no room.
I don't really be taking shots and all that.
Oh.
Yikes.
I'm treating this like I'm Nori right now. But yeah. So as far as like not giving up.
I don't think I ever drunk on the interview, but go ahead.
It's a first for everything. Tone with J. Roche. One thing let me tell you something. Before I get to the next thing, when I'm doing Home with J. Roche, I really be wanting people to know this really is like my lifestyle. This not like no bull. Like, it literally 100%. Is like my friends, they know they could pull up for some food, for happy hour, for some drinks, for some conversation, for a therapy session. Whatever the case may be, 9 times out of 10, my door is always open. You can get it here. I'm not just the vibes. The people that I invite here are the vibes. So people I think oftentimes when I first started, people was like, oh, I thought you was at a studio and stuff like that. I'm like, no, this is legit my home. Like, this is... I
done been in here way before today.
Like, legit, this is really how it is. And I try to treat people the same way. Because you never know. Sometimes when people fall through your house, they be needing a little something extra. And I feel like if you could pour into them, or if I need them to pour into me, I just feel like I try to make my home as peaceful and as easy as possible and welcoming, you know what I mean, for people to come. So today was just perfect. But I was getting into challenges and like not giving up. So what would you say were some like business high and lows? It could be dope shows or sitting pretty.
I'm gonna take dope shows just because I feel like that's been like the most high and lows that I've experienced. Honestly, when people ask me about what dope shows is, I usually tell like people that's close to me. I always say it's like a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. It's like a roller coaster. You enjoy the roller coaster, right? If you love roller coasters, you love them. But it's highs, it's lows. You understand that that's part of the process.
Yeah.
So like when me and Steph first started dope shows, our first concert, we invested a certain amount of money to do the show. And to be honest, we sold out in 6 weeks and we doubled the money. So we doubled up on our first show. We ain't take not one coin from that though.
Smart.
So like from the first double up, we was more so like, yo, like, let's go get 2 shows. Like, instead of, we could have took that money at that time as far as doubling up and thinking like, oh, let's go get a new wardrobe. Or
in hood fashion, let's go get a new Rollie.
Let's go get a new car. You get a new car, I get a new car. Mm-hmm. We was more so like cars, watches, wardrobes, they still making them. Whatever point you want to go get one, they gonna be there for you.
Right.
Lock in with this and everything else you want will come. So off the first show, we did Freddie vs. Jason in Philly at the Fillmore. Sold it out 6 weeks. Doubled our money on that show. Booked, the first thing we booked right after that was Freddie vs. Jason in Boston.
And for those of you that don't know, because Jamir, sometimes he explains things, sometimes don't, but I have a bad habit. Freddy vs. Jason is Jadakiss versus Fab.
Right. And that show actually happened before the album, before they did anything together. That was just like, they had like one or two freestyles out. Fab was more so like, dang, I kind of want to bring Kiss. Like, and it was like, all right, let's put it all together type of thing. So we took that same show, Freddy vs. Jason, to Boston. Mm-hmm. Steph and I had never been to Boston before. No nothing. Like, it was just, it really was there. Being 100% honest, it was Fab vision of like, we are, like, if y'all want, we was saying, like, let's do it again. He was like, we are in Charlotte and Boston. Like, if y'all can figure out either one of them, we can make it work. So it was like, all right, let's go to Boston. Because it was closer than Charlotte. So it was like, all right, let's go to Boston. And then we booked Ross in Philly. Ross ended up happening before the Freddy vs. Jason in Boston.
What was Boston like? Not just a concert, just like when you got up there, did you feel like it was like...
So the crazy thing about it is me and Steph went to Boston this was our first, so we had the show booked already. Tickets is on sale. We had tickets on sale. Neither one of us had been to Boston before. So the first time we was going to Boston was us in the truck in a rental with posters, flyers in the trunk. This same like back in the day Philly swag. We gonna hit all the hair salons. We gonna put posters up in the streets. We gonna hit all the concerts. We was in Boston for 2 weeks just promoting the show. In the 2 weeks that we was in Boston, being honest, we probably ran into like less than 10 black people.
Wow.
Being in Boston.
So that's a true
that was like
example
a culture change. We went out there, I was trying to hit the same thing I built here in Philly, I was trying to hit the salons. Salons ain't look the same.
No.
As they do here.
What I was saying is that's a true definition of commit first, figure the rest out later.
100%.
Because that was
a lot of our out of town shows have always been like that. Like a lot of people don't know this. When we went to Baltimore with Jeezy, that wasn't the first option for that show. It was like we were supposed to be doing. It was Charlotte with the Migos, and we lost that show. And then we was trying to do Jeezy in Charlotte, and they told us that Baltimore was a better market for Jeezy. So then we was like, all right, let's switch to Baltimore. And then that's how the Baltimore show came about. So we kind of always roll with the punches too.
I wonder why would they say Baltimore over Charlotte, being as though Charlotte is closer to Atlanta?
Because at that time, Baltimore was Jeezy's third biggest market. Atlanta was the first. It was another market that was number 2. And then, actually, I think it was another market that was number 1. Atlanta was number 2. And then Baltimore was number 3. Far as
I had
Jeezy,
a great time.
No, it was a blast. Shout out to... But even that, though, so we took the ups and downs of dope shows, right? Because that's what get goofy for people. We doubled up, did those 2 shows. We ended up selling out Rick Ross in Philly. Mm-hmm. We ended up selling out Freddy vs. Jason, Fab and Kiss in Boston. Mm-hmm. The 4th show was Jeezy in Baltimore. We lost money on that show. 100% lost money. It was Jeezy's 3rd biggest market, but what we didn't know is because it was his 3rd biggest market and everybody knew it was his 3rd biggest market, he kind of oversaturated Baltimore a little bit, so people wasn't jumping on it as hard, and Baltimore was a little slower for us. We was trying to really get in there and really understand the market. It was a lot to it. We lost money. And like honestly, it's a joke between me and Steph of how far we've came to like we got to Wells Fargo, but like the Baltimore show, we had that show that night. We lost the bag. Period. It ain't nothing to talk about. We lost a shit ton of money. The next morning, we woke up. We met in the lobby of the hotel.
Beautiful hotel.
Beautiful hotel.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Actually, the Baltimore hotel that we stayed in is probably one of my favorite hotels in the world. And I done traveled the world.
Me too.
That Baltimore shit. The Sagamore, that's a different joke.
I didn't know we was plugging names, but yes, the Sagamore is...
Sagamore need to pay, so we going to slow down on plugging the Sagamore.
The room's as high as hell, but guess what? It's an epic experience. But go ahead.
But we ended up in the lobby of that hotel, and literally, we was trying to figure out toll money. I cannot make this up. Like, we literally was like, yo, how much cash you got on you? And it might have been $17. And like... Steph like, oh, I got a dub on me, and we like the toll was gonna be $35. So like, let me put this to yours, and like I'll be able to figure. My fam's still here, so I'm gonna be able to figure toll money. Like lost it all.
And that's the part that people don't get on.
And it's like that was the longest hiatus we ever had to date. Mm-hmm. Dope Shows didn't have a concert for 4 months behind that. Like we had to figure out. At this time, I was working at the school. Mm-hmm. So it's like the show was August 11th. I went back to school, say August 15th. Now I'm back as a dean. Really, my vision was like, sell out the Baltimore show and quit. Like, that's over. You never go back.
Plans change.
Lost it all. Barely could make it back to Philly. And like, even that, like when we had moments where we win, you never could get too big headed when you have them moments. Whereas like we say all the time, like we never forget Baltimore.
But let me tell you one thing about that. So you hear him say they was trying to toll money.
Like,
but
make sure you got 40 and I got $80 was hard to come up with the next morning.
But the part of, like I said in the beginning, not giving up, and I don't want to say this to say like you should fraud, right? But they still were able to put on for the people who came out, because we didn't go home after the show. We still went to the club. You know what I mean? You guys still hosted the people that you knew took their ride.
Because it's about the vision, right? So it's like, it's been shows, it's been shows that we've lost money on. That Jeezy ain't the only show that we lost money on.
Right.
But it's always been for us, like, the hell with the money for the night. Because it's the vision.
Right.
It's the plans, like, where you could go. Nobody, like, we know we lost money, but we not trying to let everybody else lose money.
Because those shows are still a brand at the end of the day.
And we know, like, all right, we could get people, like, right now, Baltimore love us. Baltimore want us to come back out there to do more shows. And we will end up doing more shows in Baltimore. Right. But in that moment, like, we don't never forget that. Because it's like, that was low, though. Like, just learning the business and seeing where you could go. We done came off shows where it's like, you done doubled up and you got to take this one.
I won't say low. I will say grounded.
Yeah.
Grounded. Listen, because when people confuse low as a failure. Grounded is more planted, because what that did was that allowed you 4 months to go back to the drawing board and say, all right, so 100%. We see what we messed up at, and this is where we can come back. 100%. And when we come back, we coming back 10 times harder.
So 2 things. One, to speak to your point, is the next show that we came back with was, shout out to PNB Rock, Mont, his manager. Our next show coming back was PNB Rock Day. For years, that was the biggest thing we had ever done. 5,000 people, 2 shows, 1 day. We did a 4 o'clock show, an 8 o'clock show. Sold them both out at the Fillmore. It took us 4 months to get back to being able to figure it out. Because even like, humbly, I can say this, like, we had to figure out toll money. We had to figure out rent money. Like, it was a lot that we had, like, personally. Like, it wasn't like, like, people look at the highs a lot of times with Dope Shows, like, oh, y'all got buses everywhere. The radio station talking about y'all. Like, it's lit. It's like, today, maybe, but, like, we just came off of a loss. For real. Like, it be, like, losses come all the time in this business, but you just got to know, like, all right, it's the longevity. I want, like, Birthday Bash. This the first annual. That language is strategic, though. It's the first annual, though. This going to come every year. We going to do 20, 30 of these. Like, it ain't like this the first one at the Wells Fargo. Like, it could end up anywhere. This could be a whole situation. It's like, that's the plan for it. Just understanding, like,
this could end up at Madison Square Garden.
100%.
Like, what are we talking?
That's layup.
What we talking?
We definitely touching the Garden at some point. That's a whole nother joint. But
so you know how they say, like,
a lot of ups and downs with this.
Like,
got our ass kicked a couple times.
And this industry or whatever. So it's a lot of entrepreneurs that have been birthed, and people be like, quit your job and start your business or do that. Now I'm one of those people that say, if your job works for you, work your job and work your business. Are you the same way? Or do you feel as though that you need to be 100% into your business?
Twofold. One, I would say that the dedication that you put towards your business is what your business gives back from you. So when I was working at the school, I had that same mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Of like, I always said I would retire at 35 from the school job. That was the time frame I gave myself. I started Dope Shows at 29. I ended up retiring like 30. So it was like I only gave myself really a year. But I wanted to give myself more.
It's ambitious. Very ambitious.
But I seen early like my time here in the school, like devoting. Like when I was in the school, I was devoted. I was doing 50, 60 hours a week. So that was time that was taken away from the school situation. And honestly, like, shout out to my wife. In a lot of ways, she left her job a year before I left mine, and it kind of showed me, like, dang, like, what she did was sitting pretty with leaving the job.
I'ma just say this: women be knowing.
Be knowing.
We be knowing.
I was nervous.
We be knowing. We be knowing.
I was scared.
She bet on herself because she knew what she was willing to invest in for you. I'm just listen.
She also bet on herself because she knew it wasn't no
happy spouse. You didn't hear me say happy wife, happy life. I said happy spouse, happy house. That means in a marriage, in a relationship, it should be a partnership. So and I'm not saying every woman ain't got the vision, but I'm saying a lot of us can foresee where things are headed, where they're going. So she was willing to grind it up, muscle it up for a little bit as y'all needed to get y'all where y'all needed to be. You do your thing. But how many people y'all age right now? Because even she said to me recently, she was like, Jess, I didn't know you was that many years older than me. I'm like, it's only like 2, but you know what I mean? But I'm like, in her age to say like, I came out of work. I have a successful business. This is what I'm doing.
The crazy thing is that's a business that we got together. So it was like we both had jobs and we both work in the business together, but more like side, right? Mm-hmm. And her saying like, man, I can take the business to a whole nother level
if I'm home.
I focused on it full time. And me being comfortable, like, all right, go ahead, do that, and we gonna figure it out. It don't matter. Like, we ain't about our lifestyle not about to change. And then I watched where Sitting Pretty went once it had a person focused on it every day, driving it. That was the biggest boom Sitting Pretty had took since we started. So then I started thinking a year later after that, like, if I don't get the hell out of here, like, as much as I love the kids and love everything that's going on,
but imagine that what
it's like, and on top of that, Steph, my partner with Dope Shows, he was a full-time entrepreneur. So it was like every day we got calls, we scheduling, and I'm trying to schedule it around my dean calls and my schedule at work. And it started getting to the point even on with him. He would be like, damn, bro, like if you was the lead of school, like just imagine where we could go.
I mean, I often feel that, I feel like even with this, like I have to schedule when I want to tape, when I want to open my home up or whatever. But if I was able to give Home with J. Roche 100% of me, I could probably see it flourish a lot more. But also, I have to do it in my own time and be comfortable because you can't rush it.
That was another thing too that I would say on the flip side of it is like, what I told myself is I can't leave Mastery as long as I'm living off Mastery money. Mm-hmm. Because the moment that paycheck gets removed from me, then I'm gonna be lost, right? Like you got me.
I'm sauced. Okay.
But I really was more so on that of like my last year at Mastery, I was really trying to figuring out ways to live.
Trim the fat.
To not worry about the check that was coming in from Mastery, so that way I was comfortable with leaving it. Yep. But that was even just watching the process of my wife leaving and like not wearing, like really disconnecting herself from that corporate structure and having to paycheck to paycheck situation?
Like for me, it's more so like I have Home with J. Roche, and now I'm trying to introduce. Home with J. Roche is a lifestyle brand, a lifestyle show. I want a lifestyle brand, so I started small with doing like hand towels for the kitchen. I have like dark rinse denim aprons, cutting boards that's coming. And
I love what you're doing too.
And the cutting boards is so dope. I actually found the cutting boards online, and I was like, I just was randomly scrolling, and it's like they have like this. You chop. And it has this open compartment. So literally you can move the drawers in and out. So like say if you're chopping your onions, you could just slide them in, boom. Then move your next compartment in to your pepper so you're not mixing everything up. So my plan is to release Homebody very soon. I even worked on a signature candle. So I really want people to see how I am at home. You know, just...
And just on some at home. We going to pause out the... But she on some at home.
Sugar honey iced tea is what he's trying to say. Yeah, but I mean, for me, I can't wait to be that comfortable and confident. Like I said, I'm very transparent. I'm really honest about. I'm not there yet. Like, you know, when you have a partner, and I'm gonna say this: when you have a partner, it makes it a little easier to be willing to step out and to do 100%. Those things. When you solely are your own person, your own crutch, like I have a mortgage, I have a car, I have car insurance, all those things, taxes, you know, so many different things come up. People are like, oh, you should just, you know what I mean? You should just do this full time. I be like, so you gonna pay my mortgage? You gonna pay my taxes? You gonna pay my alarm system? You gonna pay these utilities? Let me know which one you gonna do, because it's not that easy.
And other than that, though, all the time, like me and Steph, me and Steph are polar opposites. It's the best partnership because I'm able to focus on what I like to do, being creative, coming up with the marketing, coming up with the day-to-day. Steph he come from real estate.
Right.
He real organized. Like right now, and I can pull out my phone, I probably got 5,000 emails unread. It's sad, but that's just who I am, right? I might have 500 DMs.
He said 5,000, I got 46,000.
No, yeah, and that's probably exactly. I'm probably 100,000.
I was about to say, keep it a bean.
Keep it a bean. Let's look at the phone while we bullshit. Just
like,
on the
for real.
Actually, I lied, y'all. I got 67,000. Just can attest to it, and I got a couple text messages that's unread. But that's just my life. Steph ain't like that. Mm-hmm. Steph ain't got an email unread on his phone right now. But it's kind of like the perfect partnership because the real estate world has transitioned him to be super organized, where I come from more like a party, creative space type of world where it's like, I ain't really
he has a more type A, like, you know,
on it. And it's like, I need that. Like we say all the time, this is like the perfect marriage, the perfect situation, because it's like, the things that let's be clear. Steph is creative. Steph come up with marketing. It ain't like it's just me. Like the whole campaign we got running right now, the SEPTA buses, the billboards, the radio, everything for the Wells Fargo, that was both of us. It wasn't like it just was me. But when it comes to the organizational side, Steph is going to text me at night like, you might have missed the email, but tomorrow we got to be here by 10 o'clock, and that's just understanding our relationship. But like he know that's what I need.
Partnerships is about playing on your strengths.
100%.
And shout out to Steph. I actually I've been around him, being around Jamir, but I actually got to hear him speak a little more. I went to go see them at the
Earn Your Leisure podcast.
Earn Your Leisure. I couldn't think of where's the venue. Where was it?
The TLA.
The TLA. I went to the Earn Your Leisure podcast, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I was kind of mad because the camera guy
ain't get there yet.
The camera guy had set up right in front of me, and he was like, "Oh, I'm in my way." I said, "Yeah, you're damn right. You're in my way. Like I need you to like scoot it on over a little bit." But it took you into a glimpse of like not just who Jamir was. It took you into who Steph was and who they are together and how they better each other.
100%. Me and him tell each other every day, like, we could have did, like, he could have found somebody else, right? Like, cause he had the real estate world going on, and he had his own thing happening, and then I had my own thing going on. Like, I could have found somebody else, but we say all the time, like, it wouldn't have worked unless it was us together. Like, I could have got another partner, he could have got another partner. We could have been trying to do the same thing on polar opposite sides of the world, but it would have never worked the way it did unless it was us together, because we've really, and honestly, going through the trials and tribulations of the business, right? When we talk about ups and downs, it's them Baltimore moments where it's like, let's cut all the shit. Mm-hmm. I got $17 right now. This is what I got on me.
And you could be
How
honest.
much cash you got on you?
Right.
Like, all right, we need $80 together to make it home. And it's like, I still got some people here.
And that's in hopes that
it's
you
like,
get gas in your tank.
Yeah. So it's like those moments is what made us be like, that's my brother.
Do you understand that also ties what people don't understand is relationships and partnerships are the same way all across the board, whether it's marriage, boyfriend and girlfriend, business, friendship, whatever it is. Those people that you can go to and be totally honest, like, look, I'm effed up. I ain't got it. We both fumbled the bag. How can we get this back? And that person's not looking at you for no judgment or whatever the case may be.
100%.
You found that person on both sides of the coin.
On both sides of the coin.
You're a lucky man.
100%. I like to think that. Let's see how I go over time. But even with that though, it's kind of like with that situation that just tore us. It tore it. Like, we was 4 months. Mm-hmm. Like, we was calling 4 months, no show. We calling each other every day. Like, yo, bro, how you doing? Right? Because like, even people don't realize that. Like, that was our 4th show. Mm-hmm. Honestly, the first 3 shows we ain't learned nothing. We was just selling shows out. We was chest out. Like, what's up? I sold out another one with the Boston. Sold that out. Went such and so. Sold that out. It was like, all right, but then ended up in Baltimore, and that ain't quite go as how we wanted it to go. But the pandemic situation, though, even how you talking about you coming up with your merch and everything else, that was important for us in a lot of ways.
You pointed to my merch, y'all, because I took a little quick break. I had to clean off my homebody joint. Shout out for the joints. This is a local company that I follow, and I had this custom done. It says homebody joint, and on the back it says Home with J. Roche. They do the whole little put your @ on there. Shout out to Jay. You know, I love this brand. But you had to clean myself up a little bit. So these are my homebody hand towels for the kitchen. So check me out. But back to Jamir. One thing that I'm pretty sure now that can help with not putting out as much money is like when you guys do like the selling of the artist slots and things of that nature, right?
No, so that's what I was going to touch on. So, like, during the pandemic, I feel like you started the show, then you built the merch. For us, it was like, honestly, before that, our focus was selling tickets. Like, before the pandemic, we probably had like 60,000 tickets sold from all the shows we had did. But that was all we was focused on. We didn't really care about nothing else. Unlike other people, I feel like some entrepreneurs was born during the pandemic, and that was probably like, the birth process, right, is new, it's fun. The pandemic was hard for us. Like, just being vulnerable and honest. Like, it was a struggle because we was on a run before the pandemic. Like, we had just 4 weeks before the pandemic, we sold out Lil Baby at the Fillmore. 2 weeks before the pandemic, we sold out Fab at the Fillmore. We had Moneybag coming at the Fillmore. We was planning our festival for 2020. It was like, we went into the pandemic with 6 artists booked. So our focus was during the pandemic was more like, where was we not capitalizing off of? Like, where was we losing money at? So one was merch. We was doing merch, but we was kind of playing with it. It never really was coming together where we had pieces, or like we was honestly, we was letting local brands get their merch to the artists before we was pushing local brands,
and that's
more
leaving
than we
meat
was
on the bones.
before we was promoting ourselves with the artists. We was letting other companies put their stuff on Lil Durk, put their stuff on Lil Baby, and like we was kind of chilling, like oh whatever. We sold the show up, but the pandemic brought me back to them college days of thinking like, where are we losing money at? Where nothing is happening at? And a big part of it was the merch. Another part of it was the local artists. So like our brand has always been big on giving local artists opportunities too. So like Sim Santana is a local artist. He had a big record 2019. We took Sim Santana from our festival where he wasn't signed. Nobody really knew what he had going on yet, or it was just starting to pick up, to less than 6 months later, we did Sim Santana headlining show. Now he is signed artist, his music everywhere at the TLA, and sold them out. Young K is an artist, Lil Mook is an artist that like we seen in the beginning and was able to help their careers. We started looking at it kind of like, yo, we need to really build something here where like we bringing industry people to the city and like helping artists really get on, because back in the day it used to be like a music industry in Philadelphia.
Right.
It ain't really that no more. It's like people ain't really skipping through here on a regular because of whatever reason that is happening. But I feel like it's not that music industry. So what we ended up introducing or figuring out during the pandemic like we wanted to do, and now they kind of got introduced to the people, was a showcase.
Okay. I
get local artists all the time, like whether I'm out, whether it's in my DMs, whether it's through somebody.
They be trying to show you.
It's like, dang, how can I get on the show?
They be talking over the beat like Clue.
Mm-hmm. How can I figure this out? And now it's like, we created a platform for that. This how our happy hour was really going too. Like, end up really lit. Really lit.
Listen, like, you can listen to my tape. You know my sister Red.
All of
you know my little cousin Pookie
little
Red.
Cousin Red, little brother Red, everybody Red.
So now you guys are doing the show.
It's like but it's also like the music industry is a $1 billion industry. Mm-hmm. It's like some of these are, Lil Baby was once somebody's little cousin that rapped, and now he the biggest artist in the world. So it's like understanding that and just thinking like, yo, what is it that we can do as a business to know that we got this attraction to the local artists, but what can we do to like really help them with their careers, but then also like make it make sense for us? Because I don't want to listen to every local artist. I don't want to listen to everybody little cousin that rap. It's like, I know
little TT spit bars. We know TT spit bars, but he don't want you coming up to him every chance y'all get. So therefore, if you come
sign up for the showcase.
Sign up to this. For his
sign up showcase. For the showcase. That's the best way.
Little TT can get up.
Little TT can be up. But this the difference too with the showcase though. This is why the showcase really live though. On the low. Not only can Little TT shout up for the showcase,
she can bring Little Poom Poom with her.
She can bring Little Poom Poom with her too. As long as he's not an artist that's trying to perform. But she get up to 3 people that could perform. That could be with her. The second piece of it is there's no real events in Philly where it's industry people. Like during the pandemic, a lot of, like when I say we was working every day, we was really connecting with labels and like just a bunch of different. We was trying to build partnerships during the pandemic.
Right.
So we was talking to a lot of executives, and a lot of them was saying more so like, yo, what y'all built, like y'all could really break an artist. Mm-hmm. But it's like, we gotta get the right artist, or it gotta really make sense. So the showcase is a way for people to not only be able to showcase their talent, win a spot on the Wells Fargo, because 2 people gonna get from the showcase or get to open up at the Wells Fargo show, so they'll get to open up for Lil Baby.
They pay for their spot at the showcase.
So the showcase is $300.
Them Lil Poom Poom and
so it's $300 is 4 tickets. So it's the artist plus up to 3 support people. So that could be whoever it is, right?
Your grandma and your DJ.
It could be a DJ,
your
it could be a
photographer,
your manager, whoever it is. Up to 3 people though.
Okay.
That's it. That's where 4 people total, including the artist.
But listen, What I wanted to say to that was like when you had like Sounds of Philadelphia and stuff like that from back in the day, those people like Gamble and Huff, they brought like showcase
100%.
like, you know, they really
100%.
put a spotlight on Philadelphia because to be honest, we can
Philly
even
used
go
to
to
be a
like
music
like
town.
to like the Sadiqs and all those people who did like, you know,
Music
like what's it
town.
like
Black Friday.
Black Friday, stuff like that, like, you know, I remember, like, I forget what year it was, but this was before, like, Volume 2 was out. And that was the first time I ever heard Beans. Yeah, I ever heard Beans. And I was down South Philly getting my hair braided. And the girl that was braiding my hair, they was talking about it. Like, I don't know if he was, like, on Cosmic Kev or something like that. And it's kind of crazy, like, the artistry that is here in the city of Philadelphia is so, like, I don't want to say unspoken because I feel like Jay, no, you came here to, you know, to get
For
your
sure.
folks. You know what I mean? So, like, people know you come here, you get, like, this raw, like, just, I don't know. It's this talent that you can't get nowhere else in the world. And Philly, we just got a different energy, a different swag.
Even when we travel the world, people love us.
So for this showcase, those people that won't have so much spotlight on them, Lil Poom Poom and Lil TT can get some.
But it's also too is like they can get an opportunity to open up at the Wells Fargo show. Mm-hmm. So like now you in the likes of Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Gunna, G Herbo. But even aside from that, let's just talk about that event. January 16th at the Foundry, we're doing a showcase where we bringing 9 industry level people to the Foundry, whereas like now they're your judges. They're the people that you're able to network with. They're the people like one of the guys we got on the shout out to Mont Brown. We got him. Mm-hmm. He from Philly. He an A&R for Columbia. He looking for talent all around the world. We also got Digital Dash. He the senior A&R, vice president A&R of RCA Records. He founded Juice WRLD, Nardo Wick, Playboy Cardi, Young K, Lil Mook, a bunch of artists that's actually signed in the industry, that's actually making moves, people that you would look up to. He just A&R'd Nardo Wick latest project.
I'm going to look up who Nardo Wick is because Jamir knows.
Who Want the Smoke?
Listen. You want the smoke? I don't know.
We gonna drop. Y'all gotta drop Who Want the Smoke on the joke. Y'all can edit that, but y'all gotta drop Who Want the Smoke when I say that.
Listen,
she don't know Who Want the Smoke.
I wish I did know, but listen,
Who Want the Smoke?
I'm willing to do the research on you know, whoever that person is, but so I'm super excited for the showcase. I will
Showcase
not. I will. The showcase is what date?
January 16th at the Foundry is the showcase.
And February 10th.
February 10th, Wells Fargo,
yes.
Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Gunna, G Herbo, Young K, Lil Mook, happening, dope shows, birthday bash, annual situation. Mm-hmm. We gonna be back next year, in the year after that,
with the Dope Lounge.
2022, July, Dope Fest coming back. Okay. Make sure y'all there for that too. And we expanding it. We out of here again. We going back on the road shortly.
Okay. Well, I am so happy that Jamir was able to come and hang out with me today. We had, you know, closed out happy hour like we normally do. I think I made our drinks a little too strong, but clearly, you know, that's neither here nor there. And I am so excited what he has in store. Stay on the lookout for all the things that Dope Shows have coming up for 2022. Stay on the lookout for all the homebody stuff that's coming your way. And stay tuned for another episode of Home with J. Roche. And what else?
Stay tuned for another episode with Home with J. Roche. Make sure you like
and subscribe,
share. This is going to probably be one of her best episodes. Because this is really how we do it. Jess really got me drunk at an interview. It's on, though. So, see y'all February 10th, too, by the way.
Yes. Bye, homies. Until next time, I am going to finish this food. And I'm going to make Jamir take another shot.
Salmon bites. Whamming, by the way.
oh, oh.